All right, well, welcome to week one of this course. We're going to start off with the world's most useful scale, and that is the minor pentatonic scale. This scale works for everything. I'm going to do this in one octave in the key of A. It looks like this. Learn those 5 notes well, and that could be all you need for your entire guitar playing career. So let's take a look at these notes. In the key of A, I'm going to play A and C, 5th fret to the 8th fret on the low E string. To the A string now, I'll play the notes D and E, 5th fret to the 7th fret. Now to the D string, I'll also play 2 notes. I'll play G on the 5th fret, and then I'll play A on the 7th fret. So we played 5 different notes. That's why the scale is referred to as pentatonic, the 5-tone scale. I started on A and ended on A, so I played this in 1 octave. So let's review that once again. A, C, to the next string, D, E, and to the next string, G, back to A. And if we made it up, we should also be able to make it down. So try and go up the scale as well as back down. Once you can do that, you're ready to move on to the next octave. So if we play this scale in 2 octaves, it would look like this. Okay, so I played the exact same set of notes, the same 5 notes, but I just continued on some new strings here. Okay, so if we pick it up from where we left off, we have our root note A on the 7th fret of the D string. Now we're going to continue to the G string. I'll play 5 to 7 on the G string. Those notes are C and D. Now to the B string, I'll play 5th fret to the 8th fret. Those notes are E and G. And now to the high E string, we'll get our root note A on the 5th fret, and we can stretch up and play C on the 8th fret of the high E string. So now here's what we've done if we go back to the 5th fret of the low E string. Okay, here's the scale played on all 6 strings, 2 notes on each string. And since we made it up, let's try and make it down. So here it is in reverse. So practice that a million times until it just feels like second nature. Muscle memory is key. You have to do that enough times so that your fingers just know where to go. And that scale is the most useful scale you will learn. So make sure you spend some time and get really comfortable with that. Once you are comfortable with this minor pentatonic scale, what we can do is add one more note, and this is known as the blues note. In the key of A, the blues note will be E flat, and we're going to add that in 2 places, but here it is in the 1st octave. Here's the A blues scale. So 2 notes on the low E string, A and C. Now on the A string, I'm going to play 3 notes. D on the 5th fret, E flat on the 6th fret, E on the 7th fret. So the blues note is that E flat note that we played on the 6th fret of the A string. Now we can continue onto the D string. We'll play G to A, 5th fret to the 7th fret. So there's 1 octave. So we want to practice this up and down. Once you're familiar with that, let's try it in the 2nd octave now. So if we pick it up from our root note A on the 7th fret of the D string, on the G string we'll play 3 notes. 5th fret, 7th fret to the 8th fret. Those notes are C, D, and E flat. So 3 notes there on the G string. And then we're going to move on to the B string. We'll play 2 notes, E and G, 5th fret to the 8th fret. And then 2 notes on the high E string. We'll play A to C, 5th fret to the 8th fret. Okay, so let's go back now to the low E string and try and play the A blues scale on all 6 strings. Here we go. Now let's try getting back down. Now this blues scale is always interchangeable with the minor pentatonic scale. In other words, wherever we could play the minor pentatonic scale, we can also play the blues scale. So make sure you're familiar with both of these scale patterns. They're both extremely useful. In fact, I think if you were on a desert island and you can only play one scale for the rest of your life, the minor pentatonic scale with that blues note would probably be the scale that would serve you best. So make sure you're really familiar with that. Okay, so once again, here's the A blues scale. Okay, so now we have that scale down. Here's something that's very important. The scale is movable. In other words, this is an A blues scale because we played starting on the root note A. If I were to move up 1 fret and play the exact same fingering, I would be playing an A sharp or B flat blues scale. If I start on B on the 7th fret and play the same fingering, I'm playing a B blues scale. So if my song is in the key of B, this is where I'd want to start. If the song is in C, you guessed it, we want to start on C, which is found on the 8th fret of the low E string. Now our jam track for this DVD today is in the key of E minor. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the blues scale in the key of E minor. That means we're going to start all the way up on the 12th fret of the low E string. It looks like this. Now hopefully you've grasped this concept that we can move the scale around to various positions on the guitar, play the same finger shape, and that gives us different keys. But just to make sure we're on the same page, here are the notes for the E blues scale. 12 to 15 on the low E string, 12, 13, 14 on the A, 12, 14 on the D, 12, 14, 15 on the G, 12, 15 on the B, 12, 15 on the high E. And back down. Okay, so now let's check out this scale in action. Our backing track is in the key of E minor. I'm going to start off by playing an idea using the E minor pentatonic scale. Then I'll play an idea using the E blues scale, and then I'll play an idea using the E minor pentatonic scale. So check it out with the backing track and just kind of absorb the sound of the scale, and then I'll show you some licks later on. So here's the first solo with the backing track. All right, so what you just heard was a phrase using the minor pentatonic scale, followed by a phrase using the blues scale, followed by a third phrase using the minor pentatonic scale, all in the key of E. So from this first section, you should be able to play the minor pentatonic scale, be able to play the blues scale, be able to move it around the neck to play in various keys, and you should be able to hear the difference between the two scales. So if you've got all of that, you're ready to move on to the next section.